Joe Rogan's most recent podcast has caused Charlie Kirk's case to go viral once more. Additionally, there is a significant issue that people are utterly ignoring. The establishment media appears trying to hide fresh information that Joe Rogan and Candace Owens have revealed, particularly Erika Kirk's emotional response immediately following the startling incident. It simply doesn't make sense.
One more thing rather explosively. 3 people told me off record. 2 people who have this in a written communication from...
I don't necessarily think they know what's going on yet. There's a lot of weird shit going on with this.
I know.
First of all, there was that one guy who was the decoy. All right, so you got this guy who's an older guy who starts yelling out. Didn't he take his pants down? He took his pants down. This guy was at 9/11. He was at the Boston bombings.
All the hits.
He called in a fake bomb at another place.
Make one more startling statement. 2 people who have this in a written message from, I don't necessarily think they realize what's going on yet, and 3 people informed me off the record. This has a lot of strange saga happening, I am aware. There was that one person who is the decoy, to start. Alright, so you have this older man who yells at you. Did he not take down his pants? He removed his trousers. You know, this guy was at 911. He witnessed the bombs in Boston. At another location, he called in a fake bomb. And now, for whatever reason, anyone who dares to submit a question online has their post removed. There are more holes in the official version of the narrative than there are in Swiss cheese. And what's coming next will make you think about everything. I'm not here to dictate your beliefs. I'm merely revealing to you what is concealed in plain view. Chaos erupted at Utah Valley University on September 10, 2025, as conservative activist Charlie Kirk was giving a live address. Within hours, authorities declared the case solved after apprehending Tyler Robinson, age 22. It sounds neat, doesn't it? False, as Candace Owens just revealed a huge revelation that is completely upending the scenario. She disclosed that Charlie reportedly informed close friends the previous day that he felt unsafe and that a negative event would occur shortly. Since then, Joe Rogan has gone all in, dissecting each inconsistency one by one.
The scope, I swear to God, it looks like he has a composite stock on it. Like it looks like a modern 30-06 rifle. So a 30-06, so that's the rifle. 30-06 is like, that looks like a very modern looking stock. I mean, it might not be. It might be just a bad.
He was a well-known...
One by one, from the alleged weapon discovered to whether the young man could have actually carried out the report's allegations. This is what this breakdown will show you. Investigators are avoiding significant contradictions, suspicious behavior from Charlie's surroundings, and the reasons why leading media sources are speculating that the entire situation may have been staged. Remain locked in because this becomes intense. Let's start with the fundamentals before delving into the more complex notions. Here is a brief overview of Charlie Kirk for those who are unfamiliar with him. First, pictures of this scoped rifle. He appears to be wearing a composite stock, I swear to God. It appears to be a contemporary 30-06 rifle. A 30-06? That's the rifle then. At 36, the stock appears to be extremely contemporary. It might not be after all. It could just be a negative thing. He was one of the most well-known activists in the nation and a prominent conservative voice. Tyler Robinson was taken into custody. What's the true story here, though? This isn't just any old political drama, you know. It's much larger. Charlie Kirk was more than just a voice in politics. This man had many strong adversaries and significant influence. He was at odds with people on all fronts. Furthermore, there are now far more questions than answers due to the peculiar details surrounding what transpired. Even Charlie's close friends and family are beginning to speak out. It's really chilling what they're saying. Okay, let's get into the specifics because this next section is crucial. In all honesty, Candace Owens' shocking announcement on her show ought to make headlines everywhere. Naturally, however, major media are denying it ever occurred. Charlie Kirk stated that he believed he was going to be killed the day before he passed away. He said to them, "I believe they're going to murder me." All right? I hadn't heard him say that. This is the reason I'm telling you this based on 3 people's testimonies. And the reason I'm saying this is to perhaps encourage these people, whom I believe to be good, to come out with it. Once more, those were private chats. I respect that. It remains off record if I declare it to be so. However, I'm hoping that by seeing what I'm doing and sensing the energy that is growing globally, for those that are curious as to what really transpired on 9/10, they will be courageous and respond, yes, Charlie did think that he was going to be killed the day before he died. and perhaps even identify the person he believed was going to kill him. Candace said that 3 separate individuals confided in her that Charlie appeared to sense that something negative was about to happen. In fact, he issued warnings against it. Furthermore, it wasn't merely a hazy, uneasy sense. Candace claims that the day before, Charlie informed them outright that he thought someone was going to hurt him. Take a moment to process that. He allegedly claimed, "I think they're coming for me," the day before the disaster. What's even more startling is that 2 of those individuals had messages, let me make some inferences, that Candace Owens implied, aloud, that President Trump is responsible for Charlie Kirk's death and, oh, seriously consider what occurred with Charlie and what it says for our current situation. And I believe it's a situation that we all simply know. We only know that he was genuinely deceived in one of the most heinous ways I believe I have ever witnessed, observed. I no longer believe in politics because of it. I no longer have any faith in Trump because of it. Charlie himself stated this in actual written discussions, and it's not just any one of them. It is said to be a significant contributor to Turning Point USA, Charlie's own group. These aren't just rumors on the internet. These people belong to his group of trusted people. Charlie Kirk was unquestionably shot in the front, and the bullet did not escape. At least a piece of the bullet was found in his neck, huh? And I'll tell you the precise location of its recovery. I have now verified this information from a number of sources. In fact, I've been putting this off for a little more than a week. Candace made it apparent that the information she is presenting is supported by reliable accounts from 3 sources. While maintaining their secrecy, she expressed her hope that they will have the guts to come forward and tell the truth in public. Additionally, she is essentially begging them to come out and reveal who Charlie was afraid of. Imagine having to live with that, knowing that someone told you something horrible was about to happen, and then it does. That is unimaginably eerie. The crowd quickly became quiet as Candace took it to a whole new level. She claimed that this whole ordeal caused her to lose faith in politics in general, and in Trump specifically. "It breaks my heart that Charlie sacrificed so much of himself for Trump and politics," she said. And that was a powerful blow. She described a mechanical, frigid pattern. When authority makes a decision no longer works for them, they simply go on as if nothing had occurred. People's jaws dropped when she brought up the holiday dynamic. She essentially questioned why some people only receive the lavish treatment following a catastrophic event, such as a Memorial Day or a boulevard named after them, and why it keeps happening. She suggested that it has become a signature play and cited instances such as ceremonial shout-outs, streets being renamed, public honors, and others. Her suspicions were further stoked when she revealed that Charlie had already received the same treatment overseas. The inference was terrifying, and you could sense the room's tension rising whether you agree with it or not. Candace isn't just any voice, no matter where you stand. She was close to Charlie, and by saying this out loud, she is jeopardizing her image. On the other hand, they said that he disassembled it and subsequently reassembled it. Stop talking. If you were very good at disassembling things again, how long would it take you to dismantle a firearm in order to fit it into a backpack? Not going to fit, by the way, it won't fit. And then after he exits the roof, somehow reconnects it. What? This is a ridiculous story. For example, I don't understand any of these things. You're telling me, for example, that this child isn't military trained. To begin with, how did this person get to the roof? Why wasn't anyone looking? Why didn't anyone point out that he could see those roofs directly from where he was sitting? None of you checked. No drone is in your possession. As if that were crazy. People lean in when someone that close begins to make connections, notwithstanding their skepticism. The main point is that she prefers brightness to silence on everything. Okay, let's shift our focus to the specifics, the forensic perspective, as that is where the official narrative begins to falter significantly. She worked through the technicals, according to Candace. He's up on the roof, he fires. From the roof, he leaps. He leaps 14 feet. Yes, we did notice that they had footage of him jumping. That is a really important detail. Why is that important? Since a front entry with a recovered fragment establishes a distinct trajectory. Where it entered and where it stopped may be mapped. That trajectory either confirms the official story or reveals inconsistencies, and it becomes a model for what could and could not have occurred. And those discrepancies aren't minor based on Candace's collapse. They are the kind that cannot be ignored. The angle of impact was disclosed by that detail. More significantly, what sort of weapon would have been used? But wait, on everything, you must have a formal view. No, you are not required to hold a formal view on every matter. You do need to be able to recognize when you are talking about something you don't understand. However, I simply stated that. I told you that the whole time. When you asked me, I replied, yeah, I said I don't believe it. I stated that this wouldn't be the hill I choose to die on because I don't understand why you didn't say it. Here's the twist that left everyone speechless, though. According to Candace, authorities never found a projectile that matched the kind of weapon they say was used. That's enormous. For those who are unfamiliar, authorities stated that the suspect allegedly used an antique hunting rifle from World War I that had formerly belonged to his grandfather. However, Candace claims that the piece discovered doesn't even fit that paradigm. What was actually utilized then, if it wasn't from that particular gun? More importantly, who was the one who fired that day? Consider it. The premise of the entire case against this 22-year-old is that he used the old firearm that belonged to his grandfather. However, the entire tale begins to fall apart if forensic evidence demonstrates that the markings don't match. This occurs. You are welcome to wear the headphones. Yes. Stress what you just stressed once more. We don't have all the facts, therefore we can't say whether this was a celebration or if a supporter fired their weapon. We don't know, but that's what was wild about it. That's it, I see. Yes, if someone was celebrating by firing their firearm. What? He was slain when someone fired their rifle in celebration. You discharge celebration guns into the air, you know. Before going public, Candace says she double-checked this verifiable information with several reliable sources, which she has been holding on to for more than a week. It's not a wild guess. It is supported by verified evidence. Major media outlets, meanwhile, are remaining utterly mute. Why? Due to the fact that this proof may. They are aware of it if you turn the story on its head. At this point, things become even more interesting. So let's include Joe Rogan. Joe has established a reputation for posing awkward queries, and he is making it clear about this scenario. The official explanation doesn't persuade him at all. The enigmatic decoy witness that showed up at the site is something that hardly anyone has talked about, but Joe brought it up on his show. He said that an elderly man there started acting strangely and caused a scene, shouting strange things immediately following the commotion. The man said, "I did it," while becoming wildly unstable and attracting everyone's attention, according to witnesses. Even those in the vicinity were unsure of how to respond because it was so bizarre. Confusion reigned supreme. Perhaps everyone was so preoccupied by that strange outburst that the actual details were lost in the commotion. Who even does that? However, it becomes more bizarre. According to Joe Rogan, this over the years, the same unidentified man has allegedly been seen at a number of other significant instances. According to him, the figure has been spotted at a number of chaotic occasions, including major catastrophes that have influenced modern American history, and he continues to appear. How likely is it that it occurred by accident? Joe even made a joke about how one of those AI probability tools would likely get a result that was nearly zero if you ran the numbers through it. Additionally, the same man was abruptly arrested on separate allegations of significant misconduct immediately following this most recent occurrence. So no one can, since he's currently incarcerated, don't speak to him again. That time was convenient, Joe noted. The man enters, causes chaos, and then vanishes into the legal system, where no one will ever be able to question him. That is extremely suspicious. Joe wasn't done, though. Not even close. He made a concerted effort to undermine the official narrative surrounding the antique hunting weapon. The article claims that the 22-year-old suspect disassembled his grandfather's century-old gun and carefully placed it into a backpack, scaled a building, put it back together piece by piece, and then fired an incredibly precise long-range shot. Joe didn't buy a second of it based on his reaction. He essentially chuckled when he said, "There's no way that makes sense mechanically." He clarified that even for a highly skilled individual, taking apart and reassembling a rifle of that caliber requires time, accuracy, and tools. And it most certainly wouldn't fit neatly into a backpack, as the article implies. He even dissected it. For that quick setup fantasy, the parts are too delicate, too heavy, and too long. The official narrative then says the suspect somehow escaped from the rooftop, snuck away undetected, and everything magically fit the chronology. According to Joe, Joe's perspective was direct but impactful. The story's technical aspects simply don't add together. He was surrounded by expert marksmen for years, and based on his observations, what they are saying is not just improbable, but nearly impossible. Imagine this then. A crazy individual runs about shouting gibberish to get everyone's attention when you leave an ancient weapon in the woods and add a few unclear information. It's intentionally chaotic. The truth is not concealed by you. You cover it up with layers of distraction until no one can distinguish between what is real and what isn't. It's twisted, but in a sinisterly cunning manner. And that's just what appears to be happening in the Charlie Kirk case. Unusual details keep appearing like clockwork whenever someone attempts to go further. Missing security footage, a weapon that doesn't match the forensic evidence, a random man making irrational admissions, and incoherent contradictions. It resembles a puzzle designed to be perplexing. Intentional confusion. People are paying attention because of this pattern of excessive noise, because it seems like the truth is constantly being obscured by diversions. The problem is that not everyone agrees with Candace Owens' viewpoint, and that contributes to the ferocity of this argument. Before this whole thing had transpired, Joe Rogan himself disputed some of her statements. To be honest, that balance is important. Both sides must be questioned if we ever want to become more like the real thing. During one of their podcast disputes, Joe pushed Candace to exercise caution when making large claims before all the facts have been verified. It was a strong but fair stance, and it's true that he told her, "You don't have to have an opinion on everything. What matters is knowing when you don't know enough to speak with certainty. We shouldn't make snap judgments without evidence just because something seems fishy," Candace politely retorted, stating she'd already expressed to him her lack of conviction. "The conflict between intuition and facts is what makes this story so intriguing," she said, adding, "I never claimed to know for sure. I just said something doesn't feel right. Politics is no longer all that matters. It concerns the meaning of truth itself, given that everyone perceives it differently," Candace reiterated. "I don't believe it," but Joe interrupted right away, raising doubts about her wording. Candace stressed that she wasn't claiming to have all the details, only that something felt strange. "But why say you don't believe it? Why not just wait until you really know?" she asked. "You would rather I simply said, I don't know. All right, I'm not sure. I haven't said anything in public. I'm not claiming anything is true, and I haven't produced a video." She informed him that since Joe wasn't mistaken, the back and forth turned into a potent moment. Large assertions require large amounts of evidence. But Candace had a point too. It's difficult to just sit back and act like everything makes sense when the contradictions start to pile up like this. It's clear that something isn't aligning, and we're caught in this uncomfortable middle ground. However, there isn't enough reliable evidence to make a firm judgment either. Verifying Candace's allegations is difficult. That perhaps just possibly one of Charlie's own fans was responsible for the entire disaster. In fact, they even suggested that during a political gathering on a college campus, a fan might have been cheering when they unintentionally fired a weapon. Joe Rogan's response after hearing that was revealing. Complete incredulity. He referred to it as a wild take, highlighting how odd it was that the host leapt to one of the most outlandish theories available rather than considering actual investigative avenues. Joe put it succinctly. It's almost as if the media will perform mental acrobatics to dodge the awkward inquiries. And to be honest, you wonder what else is being ignored when you see a title like that. Joe Rogan was shocked to hear the MSNBC presenter say, "We don't know if it was a supporter shooting off a weapon in celebration. You know how they do at big gatherings. What? Like it's the 4th of July? You can't even leave your house?" He shot back cynically. "That's crazy." His expression was unmistakable. Complete incredulity. Consider the goal that network has in mind. Despite everything, they couldn't help but make fun of Charlie Kirk and his supporters. In essence, they were suggesting that conservatives are so reckless that they may have unintentionally injured their own leader in a fit of enthusiasm. Journalism isn't like that. Spin is that. Additionally, it demonstrates the extreme desperation of certain publications to turn the story into something it isn't. What's left on the table is chilly, so let's bring this all together now. What we do know is as follows. The day before everything transpired, Charlie Kirk told a number of individuals that he thought his life was in jeopardy. This is confirmed by several witnesses, and 2 of them have it in writing. That in and of itself raises serious concerns. Joe Rogan claims that the official account made the public believe that a 22-year-old who had no professional experience managed to disassemble an old World War I weapon, neatly pack it in a bag, and then mount a rooftop, expertly reassembled it, and took a faultless long-range precision shot. Candace Owens, who actually knew Charlie personally, claims that this case has destroyed her faith in the political system as a whole. Joe, who has handled numerous firearms and spoken to specialists, states unequivocally that's basically impossible. She thinks that influential people may have wanted Charlie out of the way, and that there is a lot more going on behind the scenes than people realize. Joe, on the other hand, believes that the incessant paradoxes, strange anecdotes, and diversions are all a pattern, one intended to so thoroughly perplex the people that they ultimately cease seeking the truth. What do you think then? Was this really the work of one person? Or is there a more profound tale being obscured by all the commotion? Do you think Charlie may have realized something significant was about to happen, as Candace suggested? Leave a comment below with your opinions. I would like to know your thoughts. Remember to use the like, subscribe, and share buttons on this video. People are able to see the true situation, and I'll see you in the upcoming.